I'm going to keep this as simple as I can. Only the details that matter. I'm 22 years old now. I grew up in a quiet, suburban neighborhood, the kind with tree-lined streets and families that stay for decades. Our house was 3 stories tall. My bedroom was on the 2nd floor, facing the street. My dad's home office was directly above it, on the 3rd floor. Those 2 windows are important, because whatever this is, it seems to like watching from the street. The first time anything strange happened, I was still in middle school. It was early morning, probably a weekend, when I overheard my parents whispering in the kitchen. My dad sounded shaken. I caught words like "again" and "still there." When I asked what happened, they brushed me off. I didn't learn the real story until later. My dad was working late that night. Around midnight, he noticed a Chevy Suburban creeping down our street. Not slowing, creeping, barely moving. Then it passed the house, turned around, and came back. And then it parked directly across from us. No one got out. My dad watched it 4 minutes, then longer. He went back to work, glancing out the window every so often. The car never moved. Eventually, exhausted, he fell asleep at his desk around 2 in the morning. When he woke up at 5:30, the Suburban was still there. Same spot, same angle, like it hadn't moved an inch all night. It finally drove away before sunrise. That wasn't the first time he'd seen strange cars late at night, but it was the first time one stayed. Years passed. We forgot about it until I was 15. I was up late in my room, headphones on, making music. My desk sat right in front of my window. That's when I noticed a flicker of light outside. Then another. I looked up and froze. 3 cars were crawling down the street, and the people inside them were shining flashlights into houses. Not streetlights, not headlights, flashlights. The beam swept across the house next door, then slowly toward mine. I ducked. 2 seconds later, light spilled across my ceiling. Someone was shining a flashlight directly into my bedroom. I stayed down, heart pounding, until the light passed. When I looked again, the cars were already turning the corner at the end of the street. My parents called it casing. Thieves. They installed cameras, motion lights, ring doorbells. We felt safer. Then a landscaper found a hidden camera in our backyard bushes. Small, battery-powered, no memory card, no SIM, meaning it had probably been streaming live until the battery died. No one could explain who placed it there, or when. The police took a report. Nothing came of it. A few years later, our next-door neighbors moved out. The house sold almost immediately. A young couple moved in, no kids. Big house, strange hours. I started noticing them standing at their top floor window, staring into our yard, always standing, never sitting. One night, while walking my dog, I glanced through their kitchen window and saw them sitting with a third man, bald, muscular, thick eyebrows, unforgettable face. The moment I noticed them, the woman stood up and closed the curtains. Not angrily, quickly, like she knew I was looking. I didn't think about it again until Paris. Last week, my family was on vacation. We were sitting in a bar when I glanced across the room and saw a man drinking alone, and I recognized him, the same man from my neighbor's kitchen. In another country, we locked eyes just long enough. He stood up, left his drink, and walked away. A few days later, I saw him again, this time in broad daylight, standing across the street, holding a professional camera, pointed in our direction. That's when my dad believed me. And that's when things got worse. A few nights after we got home, I went hiking to clear my head. I know those trails well. Night hikes never bothered me. But the fog that night was thick. Visibility dropped to 20 feet. Then I smelled perfume, then campfire smoke. Then something earthy, something familiar from childhood. And then I saw a flashlight on the ridge above me. No trails go up there. I turned my music off. I heard whistling, I found a stone sculpture placed carefully on a flat rock. That's when footsteps charged me from behind. Fast, heavy, then silence. I stood frozen in the fog, blade in hand, listening. Eventually, I had no choice but to walk forward toward where the footsteps came from. Something followed me, matched my pace, crashing through brush. When I ran, it ran. I didn't stop until I reached my car. I never saw who or what it was, and that wasn't even the first time something like this happened. When I was 15, I stayed with my great-aunt in Vermont. Every night, footsteps paced the empty apartment above us. My aunt pretended not to hear them. Fresh scuff marks appeared on the floor. My mother told me not to ask questions. Years later, I learned someone had died in that apartment, and my aunt inherited the building shortly after. I don't believe in ghosts, I believe in patterns. And for over a decade now, something or someone has been watching my family. From our street, from our neighbor's house, from another country, and now from the woods, and whatever it is. I don't think it's done yet.